today we are looking at maximizing the potential of Libyan market under the AfCFTA. Remember, Libya is a North African country, and it's a very interesting country that is worth considering. All right, here is Libya. Here comes Libya. You know, Libya has been a very troubled country. Since the death of Gaddafi, the country have really not settled, and people have attributed all the issue and woes of Libya to the West. The West. Despite the challenge in that country, they are still trying to make some progress. The capital is in Tripoli, and you can see the boundary with Niger, with Chad, with Egypt, and with Sudan. Libya is a very small country with a population of about 6 million people. But it's interesting to note that Libya is an upper middle income country. A small country with a lot of money. Libya is an upper middle income country. It's an upper middle income country because it's earning more than, below 1,000 is low income, between $1,000 and $4,000. Averagely is lower middle. Between $4,000 and I think about $10,000 or $12,000 is upper middle. And then upper income country more than $12,000. Capital is in Tripoli. This country score 32% on ease of doing business. Of course, because of the issues in that country, doing business in that environment is not funny at all. Ranking 186 out of all the countries that were sampled in the world. This country have border with the Mediterranean Sea, with Egypt, Tunisia, and Algeria. Coastline is 1,770 kilometers. It's a 96.6% Muslim country, virtually Sunni Muslim. Not the Shiite, Sunni Muslim. Population estimated to be 7 million people by July this year. The language is Arabic. And the fact that it's Muslim predominantly speaks volume in terms of culture. If it's also Christian, there are culture associated with it. Those countries in the northern part of Nigeria, southern part of Africa, countries like Tunisia, countries like Morocco, countries like Libya, countries like Egypt, those countries are part of the MENA country. MENA country are Middle East, North African country. They are all core Islamic country, and they have a lot of stuff in common. They have free trade agreement among themselves. With some other certification, particularly something like halal certification for food item, is what will be required in that kind of environment. So I'm just emphasizing the fact that the religion of the people influence the culture. And the culture is critical in finding market in that space. The agri-product produced in this country include potato, watermelon, tomatoes, onion, date, milk, olive, wheat, poultry, vegetables. Industrial sector, petroleum products, petrochemical, aluminum, iron, steel, food processing, textile, handcraft, cement. handcraft, and cement. Income level, upper middle income. Income level, upper middle income. Urbanization, 80%. That is a lot. You know, like I said, often every week, that urbanization gives you an idea of the kind of work you need to do in terms of distribution. If a lot of people live in the urban center, you have an advantage. That means the cost of distribution comes down. But if there are more people in the rural area and less in urban center, or almost equal, then cost of distribution goes up. Literacy level in that country is 91%. You know, this country is just something else. You know, there are some countries in Africa, even though this country is the way it is, which is why I have concern with the West. You know, these are among the few African countries that have potential to do so well. But you know what? It's not the joy of the West that Africa thrives. And whatever they need to do to ensure any leader trying to do that go down, sometimes they do. GDP is 52 billion. Now imagine, just imagine this. A population of 7 million people, GDP 52 billion. If you multiply that GDP by 8, you will reach Nigerian GDP. 8 million, 7 million people times 8, that's 56. That means if you have to look at it proportionately, at 56 million people, this country will be having GDP of Nigeria. Of course, that's why the per capita income also is very high. Per capita is 7,640. So there's a lot of money in Libya to do business. But the business environment is not so palatable. But we'll be looking at some of those challenges and then discuss some of the mitigating factors. Wow, the inflation in Libya as at 2017 was 28.5%. Household consumption is 71%. Remember, household consumption is a component in calculating GDP, and household consumption is a subcomponent under the consumption component of the GDP. But guess what? Guess what? The consumption component, the household consumption of the consumption component of the GDP of Libya is 71%. This country is driven by industry and services, very minimal agri. That's a good news. Why is it a good news? That means they import most of their food. If they are spending, if agri is contributing just 1.3% of the GDP, that means they import their food. That's a good news. A very, very good news. Just like many other African countries, the age structure of this country shows that almost half of the country are below 25 years. Almost 50% are below 25 years, which is a general recurrent decimal in many African countries, which is also a good news, by the way, because it means we have young population, number one. Number two, we have an idea of the people we must not neglect if we are going to that market. I am of the opinion that from the series of seminars we've done on this issue, I'm of the opinion that any business that wants to thrive in Africa cannot reduce the drive for fast-moving consumer goods. I hold the view that any business that wants to thrive in Africa must take fast-moving consumer goods extremely seriously and target the population. You know, because there's poverty in Africa, people basically live for survival. So they will buy exactly what we were buying during COVID. If you are familiar with the way COVID shaped the way we buy, you understand what I'm talking about. Food and drugs, personal care products. These were the products thriving during the Corona period. So what do you want to export? Can you export that item? Is there enough demand for the product? Do you have a compelling value proposition? Value proposition? Do you understand your target market? Can you meet the market price expectation? Do you have a distribution and marketing plan? Do you have the capacity and capability to export? Have you investigated payment issues? Can you fund your export drive? Have you completed an export plan? Libya is the 87th economy in the world in terms of GDP. Number 68 in export. Number 90 in total import. Number 113 in economic complexity index. Libya exported 27.8 billion and imported 12.8. This country is having fantastic positive trade balance. These are countries you want to export to. These are countries that will not have issue with forex or exchange control. Exchange control. What are the top trade exports of this organization? Number one, crude oil, of course. Of course. Of course, crude oil. Crude oil. Refined petroleum. Petrol gas. Scrap copper are top export. Top import, Libya refined petroleum. Libya are top member of Libya refined petroleum. Broadcasting equipment, cars, rolled tobacco, packaged medicaments. Destination, Italy, very close to Libya. China, Germany, Spain, France. An import is from Turkey, UAE, China, Italy, Spain.